Supernote has recently released the Ratta Supernote A6, and that is to rival another segment of devices, the 7.8-inch Onyx Boox, and everyone else that is getting into the 7.8-inch note-taking game. How do they stack up? Let's check it out. The Supernote is already at a little bit of a disadvantage because it doesn't have a glow light, it doesn't have Android, it doesn't even have a home screen, but you'll see why in a little bit. We'll start with the Onyx. The Onyx's pen is very basic, it's very cheap. This is the go-to pen for device manufacturers that use Wacom. It's nothing special in any way. It's just a regular plastic pen with a couple buttons, one button on the side, one button at the back, a plastic lapel clip that has broken on a couple different of our styluses, but they're cheap enough to replace, and some plastic nib, nothing to write home about. The Supernote pen has actually been blowing up, at least in the e-reader world. It's been selling well. They released a new line called the Heart of Metal series. It's very cool. It looks like a pen. It's made out of aluminum. It does have a plastic nib, but it's so much more advanced than a lot of pens on the market. It features technology like spring dampening and a metal pen replacement on the inside that says Wacom Japan on it. The casing is also about 10 to 15 grams heavier than a standard stylus. All of this ends up looking like a real pen with a lot of muscle memory involved, and I say that every time because it is true. When you write with something that looks, feels, and draws like a pen, it's very natural. When you write with something that doesn't look like a pen and doesn't feel like a pen and is lighter than a feather, it's not as natural. Looking at the home screen on the Onyx is very well laid out. Library, shop, note. Let's click on each one of these. Storage, apps, and settings. Settings is a Android, obviously because it is Android. You have a gridded system, a 3x3. Everything's very nicely laid out. Language, network, application, etc. Everything is isolated to the middle of the screen here. The top bar and the sidebar will not change based on what you click on here, and is all very well laid out. If you click on the top, you get the multi-screen here, so you can see what everything is running. You can use the little cleaning manager to get rid of all that. You have A2 mode, which actually speeds up the processing of the device, but lowers the quality of the overall images. You have band mode, which isn't really useful to a very big degree because this thing has very good palm rejection technology. You don't really need it. And we have a glow light, which we cannot compare because the Supernote does not have one, but we do have cold light and warm light on here, and that is all really cool. If we get out of there and swipe the top down, you do have some Android settings here. Power save mode, batteries listed up top with your Wi-Fi, and you have home and back, as well as a back button on the bezel here. It is not a home button, this is actually a back button. Supernote does not have a home screen. Their home screen is whatever you want it to be, a list of your documents, your note, whatever. They have a lot of hidden stuff though. If you swipe down on here, you actually get recent document, note, summary, email, calendar, and quick access. We'll tell you that in a second. This sidebar you can also swipe up. At any point in time, if there's too much staining on the screen, you just swipe up and you trigger a refresh. This works on any application you're on if you're reading a book, notes, PDFs, etc. Swiping down from the top, you get some settings. You have the user settings right there. It'll take you into the settings. We're not going to go through each one of these. If you want to see these, you can look at our YouTube channel on the A6 review. Just gonna X out of there for now. You do have contrast bar right here for PDFs. You do have the settings, help, search, Wi-Fi, and so forth. There isn't much else to it except for that, and like I said, if you do want to see your home screen, you're looking at it. The Onyx Boox Nova delivers a really good reading experience with tons of formatting choices. You have Chinese fonts, English fonts, and code if you have to change your the background of what the book is. So if you need Japanese text formats, if you need Korean, Thai, Russian, they all have it. Format is really nice too. You have tons of ways to change your experience. Gamma, text gamma, images and text are actually separate elements. They have contrast, bold, spacing style, format, rotation, tons of stuff. Watch the review if you want to see more. Their long press is also very nice as well, offering a ton of different things down below, text to speech, and even some more options to go into. Dictionary lookup, a translation, and so much more. You do also have something really cool, and it is Side Note. And Side Note's really nice because you can actually take notes on one side, as you see what we did there, and actually read your book on the other. So if something's really important, you just make notes of it like that, and you can actually do that on any book. You click the back button once and you're out, but it saves your note. The Supernote's reading experience is very basic, but they do have some really cool features to it. You do have some ways to change your text, albeit not many. 7 ways to change your font size, 3 font size styles, and row spacing and margin. That is it. But on any EPUB, you actually can draw on it right away, and you don't have to initiate scribble, you don't have to initiate any other thing or any other menu element. You just go ahead and start writing. And actually, if you swipe over from the side, you get the little bar, and we'll save that for the note-taking experience. However, they do have something really cool, and it's almost like a privacy mode. If you double tap on the screen, you have just the book now. If you tap single times on the screen, long press, nothing else brings that menu element back, and it is a completely undisturbed experience, which is really cool. Double tapping it back exits the privacy mode or full screen mode, and you have your elements once more. Now, they don't have the ability to long press, so how do you do it? Whereas on the Onyx, you just long press with your finger, the Supernote, you do it with the pen. So actually, if you take a field of text, like so, it turns it into perfect parentheses, and you get your summary and comment up above, which you can then start making comments on your passage. And I'll say page 2, important, and it saves it right there. I also mentioned quick access. At the top right corner, you can click the little link with a plus, and it says quick access add successful. So if you swipe down, there you are right there on this exact page. You can just click on it, go right there, and start reading once more. This really separates the men from the boys. We're going to start on the Onyx. Tons of features on this bad boy. You have paintbrush, which gives you that level of pressure sensitivity. Pencil, which is the same all the way through. You have shapes, which pretty much no device gives you geometric shapes right out of the gates, and they're perfect every time. You do have eraser as well. You can do moving eraser, stroke eraser, erase all, or use the back of the pen to erase, so that's really cool. They even allow you to use the secondary button, so the pen is completely usable all the way around. There isn't anything left out. On some other devices, this doesn't even do anything. Or you can just click erase all. They have a Lasso Tool as well, so this is really cool. If I draw my world-renowned box, use the Lasso Tool on it, I can actually move this around, and I can do a couple amazing things. I can make it big or rotate it, which most devices do, but you can actually stretch it, which not a lot of devices actually allow you to change the aspect ratio. That's really cool. You copy it, stamp it, paste it, do whatever you want, delete it. It's really fast, it's really solid. You have text input, and you have this as well, which is really cool. I'll write my name here. Actually, I don't know what's going to happen with the box on the screen. Hey, it said my nickname, Petey, when I was younger, but it is really cool. I wrote the R terribly. It has handwriting recognition that turns it into text, which is really cool. You can go ahead and dictate all your notes, just write cleanly and neatly, and you can actually change it to text and long press it and copy and paste it and do whatever you want with it. So that's a really nice feature. You do have some line thicknesses here too. You can make the lines super thick. And you have colors. Black, white are the only really useful ones. Red, green, and blue are kind of strange because red, green, and blue are all going to look exactly the same. It wouldn't be until you actually export it that they would be different. You have some backgrounds as well, which is really cool. A couple pages of those. Press back to go back. And you have band mode, and like I said earlier, band mode's kind of useless because, and that's not a bad thing, it's just that with 5 fingers, even moving around, 5 multi-touch, it doesn't change the writing experience at all. It would, I guess, be for if you touch them with your hand, but even then, resting your hand on the screen is totally fine. You do have share, you have refresh, and you have menu position change if you're left-handed and you want to write over there, or what have you. It's the Supernote's turn. You can write right away, or you can swipe the side to open and close the little tray that you have on the side here. You can use the pencil, you can use the pen, which offers you the line's thickness based on how hard you press it, and it does have a lot of levels of pressure sensitivity, as you can see. It's very nice. We have the highlighter as well, and we'll stop on this for a sec because we want to show you that this device has black, gray, and light gray, which is really cool because there's 3 colors on the screen and you don't actually have to wait to export in order to see the differences of the colors. So that's really cool. You do have some ways to erase what you've drawn. You can click on range eraser so you can erase certain segments. You can click on the eraser itself and go like that. Now, this particular pen isn't set up for erasing because it has nothing on the back, but the device is perfectly set up for erasing. You'll see that I'm using the one from the Nova Pro, and you can actually do erasing with that, and it works perfectly fine. So the A6 is capable of doing it, it's just not ready yet in terms of the pen functionality. You do have erase all as well, which just wipes the whole screen away. So what we're going to do is go to the pen and make a nice box, go down to the Lasso Tool, lasso it up, and now I can move this around and I can stamp it. If I've drawn something really intricate, I can move it around and keep it like that. Now, they don't have any ways to change the aspect ratio or anything else yet, or rotation, but they are working on it. They are very new. This is a new company, and this is a brand new device. Now, they have something extremely cool, and that is, we didn't mention it earlier, and that is clip art. So if I draw, I don't know, a smiley face, nothing happens. But if I draw a star, you will see that it turns into a perfect star. And it's really cool because even if you draw a little tiny one or a gigantic one, it turns into a perfect star every single time. Something to also note is that each of the pens work on each other's devices. So you'll see here, it works, and on here, it works. The Onyx Boox Nova Pro does it all. It's running Android, it has a glow light, it has a glass screen, flush screen and bezel. It's fantastic. It does everything you'd want it to. If you don't like the stock PDF reader, you download another one from an app market. If you don't like the stock text-to-speech, download another one from the app market. The Ratta Supernote A6 has lots of limitations. It is running Linux, you can't sideload apps, and it doesn't even really have a home screen, but you can't deny the fact, once you use this device, that the note-taking experience is pretty much unparalleled. For a matchup between the A6 and the Nova Pro, this is Peter from GoodyReader.com. Everyone, have a great day.